Hello, money queens and listeners. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. Let's meet the women behind the millionaires, the women supporting, guiding, celebrating women with their wealth. You will hear from women millionaires, how they got there, what they wish they had known, what got them to be a millionaire, the emotional side, the spiritual side, the practical side of wealth. You'll also get to meet the women behind the scenes helping make it happen. Let's dive into Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host, best-selling author of 3 books, wealth advisor, and founder of the Women's Wealth Boutique. Let's start meeting the women. Hey, hello, ladies. Hello, money queens. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, and we have a show that in my mind will be the brightest array of positivity you have ever heard before in your life based on our guest tonight. And I am thrilled to be recording this episode with our guest, who is one of our contributing authors to our newest, best-selling book, Financial Trendsetters, Revolutionizing the Role Women Play in Building Wealth. It became a bestseller yesterday. We had a party here in New Jersey. All of our contributing authors were celebrating in all different parts of the country. It was an incredible day, and I cannot wait to dive into tonight's episode. And I'm sure you are just going to leave this episode, this time tonight with us, with so much inspiration, of feeling lighter, hopeful, seeing light at the end of the tunnel for the first time you probably have ever seen it in months, years, decades. Because that's exactly what our guest brings to our show tonight. And before we bring her on here, you know me, we are going to start with a really grounding, centering thought, mantra, prayer, depending on where my energy is that day. I really like to feel into these moments. And I was popping up my journal, and I love this journal because look who's on the cover. The Fearless Girl statue. I love it. What an amazing reminder every time I open up this journal. But actually yesterday, and I was going through and I was listening to Abraham Hicks, big fan of hers. And something she said, I had to write it down immediately. Listen to this, ladies. Fear exists when I operate in the opposite of desire. Fear exists when I operate in the opposite of my desires. How many times do you find yourself on the path going down the wrong way because of what you were told it was supposed to be like, or what you should be doing? And I swear this was my year last year, having to figure this out. And God's going to make us figure it out at some point. He is. Whether the floor falls out from underneath us, doors are slammed in our face, relationships just disappear, people ghost you, we will learn this lesson. I remember last year, it was towards the end of the year, and all of a sudden it hit me that I have been building the Women's Wealth Boutique, according to how all of these people, because we're in the financial industry, happen to be old white men, let's be honest, male, pale, and stale, how they told me I should be running it and the services that we provide and the offerings. And that in that moment, I can remember that moment. I was at home in my house by myself, really just about to walk out the door to get to work. It was like a lightning bolt that hit me. I'm like, wow. I left the wirehouse, the broker-dealer world, to be able to create something outside the box, to be in full creation mode, to not care what other people think about it, but to really do what lights me up. And yet I've fallen back into that trap. And in that moment, I decided, nope, I'm not going to do that anymore. And this year, everything has changed. So I encourage you, if you are watching this, don't let that fear get in the way. Let that fear be a guiding, almost torch to show you, why is this fear coming up? What is triggering this fear? And is it because I'm on the wrong path? Is it because I'm going down the wrong route, the wrong way? And I'm not saying there's not going to be fear. There is still going to be fear, but there's going to be this very centering energy as well when you are on the right path. And you don't have to be so scared that things are going to fall apart or everything's going right, what's going to go wrong. those kind of things. So when fear's coming up, it's a good time to get very curious about it. Instead of getting scared, get curious. Why is it coming up? What's being triggered? Is there a trauma that's coming back up because of something that just happened that's getting triggered, pulled back up? What do I need to heal? Who do I need to invite into my world? Who do I need to let go of in my world? And let it be a new practice around it. And then I'm going to leave you with this prayer to kind of counteract that fear statement. Lord, may I trust and feel safe in what we are building together. And I love, and I've been doing that a lot more this year, inviting God into my business, into my money, into my family, into my soul every day, all throughout the day. And it's not what I'm building, what he's building. We're building it together. And when you do that, learning to trust and feel safe in that creation role that you are playing with God, to me, is really why we are here on earth. So, as I said, I love you, God. I thank you for me, my family, and everything. It was an incredible day yesterday celebrating the launch of Financial Trendsetters, and I'm thrilled to bring here on stage with you right now, Holleigh Urbanik, who is coming to our show. Hello, Holleigh. Welcome.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here.
Oh, we are thrilled to have you. Holleigh is born and raised in West Michigan, Tri-Cities area. She's a lifelong learner, just recently passed her Series 65. We're going to go into that tonight as well, the state securities exam, and further advancing her education career. She's married to her partner and best friend, Todd. She is a stepmom to 2 bonus children, Parker and Caitlin, and 2 rescue pups, Daisy and Finn. She's a licensed client service liaison at the Melissa Myers Group. So, Holleigh, I'm thrilled to have you. You are back on the show. You were with Melissa during season 1 of Women Behind the Millions. Now you are coming on season 2 as one of our financial trendsetters, our fearless, pioneering financial trendsetters. What, Holleigh, was it like contributing to this now best-selling book?
Wow, that's a really great question. Like I said, it's an honor to be here for season 2. I can't believe it's already season 2. But yeah, writing it was very emotional. That, things came up as I was writing that I didn't realize were going to be a thing. And so I had to navigate through those emotions. And I wasn't expecting that.
I'm sure you got very vulnerable in your chapter. What was it like kind of laying it all out there? And now the world, March 8th, the world is going to be able to read it. That's got to be emotional in and of itself.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's very exciting. And it's also kind of like, oh, like you said, I was very vulnerable in my chapter. And at times when I was trying to read this out loud as we were going through the process, even just to my husband, I struggled to even get the words out because it was just so real, and not real like I haven't processed those emotions yet, but that, wow, that girl struggled so much. What would I have done if I had someone like you, Jessica, or someone else to look up to and kind of steer me in the direction of where I should be going? How different that girl's life could be having that person step in.
Did that give you the inspiration to be as raw and real as you are in your chapter, to find that next person who could be struggling just like you were?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that there are many, many women, still in high school or even just trying to figure things out, that could benefit from what I have written. And I hope to inspire those that are still trying to figure it out in high school or beyond, in college, or even after, that there's a real impact that you are creating by just being yourself.
Ooh. And as Brene Brown says, being that vulnerable is the most courageous thing that you can ever do. And a lot of people think it's showing their weakness, and it's the opposite. It's showing their strength, their perseverance, and their willingness to be raw and real to help other people. It's a very selfless act that you did, showcasing it. And in your chapter, you go into, I'm not going to give away the entire chapter, Holleigh, but you go into something that I would say majority of couples deal with when it comes to their money, and it's open communication.
Yeah.
Around it. Can you take us through your journey of you're happily married to Todd, lifelong partner, best friend? Take us through this time that you kind of share in that chapter of having to be real with him.
Oh yeah. Well, being freshly married, we up until that point had just kept our finances separate. And, he had his money and he paid his bills and I did mine. And that was just really what we did as a partnership, trusted that the other was going to take care of everything because no news is good news, right? And then we figured out if we're really going to do this, if we want to gain the momentum that we want to build the future that we want, we've got to come together and figure out how we can communicate openly and honestly about what our desires are, what our dreams are, and how we want to help each other do that. And it's not just okay, he worked hard for his money doing what he does, so he has all the rights to that. And I worked hard for what I do, so I have all the rights for those funds. It's learning to communicate collectively and agree on that shared vision, which gives you the fuel and the fire and the power to make the choices that are difficult and then keep going when you accomplish them.
How receptive was he to this conversation? Were you the one who kind of spearheaded it, who initiated the conversation?
Yeah, I was. And I think it really got to a point for myself of being if I want a different outcome, if I want to really amplify our future, then I'm going to have to do something. I can't just think in my head, oh man, it would be really great to have another property someday, and then just magically wish that it lands in my lap. That's not going to happen. So having the courage to have an open conversation with your partner, with your spouse, even when it feels difficult, is well worth it, even though you might be dealing with some of that fear. But like you said earlier in the episode, using that as your fuel, using your fear as your fuel and not letting it deter you from where you want to be.
Oh, sure. And did the conversation go better than you expected? Because I just had a woman in our office, and she's completely in the dark, right? This is her husband's second marriage. He has a lot of assets. He has an inheritance. He has a trust. So money seems fine. But when it comes to wealth, as you know, Holleigh, wealth is a form of control and power. And if you're not part of those conversations, if you don't know what's going on, you've given your power, that control to somebody else. So now she wants to get educated so she knows what questions to ask, what to be looking for, how to even start on that path as well for it. And there's so much anxiety leading up to it. I said, within the week, can you have that conversation? And the excuses started. Well, he's really busy. I don't think it's a good time. Maybe, I don't know. Did it go better than you expected? Once you actually had that conversation, how did you feel?
Yeah. Getting over that initial hump of all of the what ifs, having it just saying it out loud, it was like an instant relief. And to my surprise, it was something that my husband was struggling with internally, that he didn't want to disappoint me. And so kind of understanding trying to put myself in his shoes also, and then kind of taking a step back, okay, maybe he just didn't know how to navigate that emotion, that feeling of not wanting to disappoint me. And maybe that's new because he's never had to consider it before. So kind of taking an avenue of grace and having that conversation regardless, it really held a huge space for us and really brought us closer together in the end.
Yeah, being able to put the defensive walls down, not
Hmm.
accusing each other, but you were saying coming from a place of understanding and grace,
Yeah.
which is huge. And we don't think about what the other partner is going through internally. We're making things up in our mind. Oh, they're not talking to us because they must be upset with us or hiding
Mhm.
something. But it could be, like you said, that disappointment, that sense of failure, all the pressure that they might be putting on themselves
Yeah.
as well. What would be some tips, Holleigh, that you can give women who are watching now who do not have open dialogue with their partners about money? What would you suggest them start to do?
Yeah, I would honestly challenge you to just do it anyway. As much as that sounds cliche, right? Like Nike, just do it. But really, honestly, just do it because you might be surprised at the outcome. Like there might be something that brings you closer together. There might be another way that you can build and amplify your relationship and expand on that and bring you closer together as a couple instead of once we get those thoughts in our heads, especially as women. I feel like I struggle with this at times too. The spiral just goes and it goes and it goes and it goes. And you have this big idea of, oh, he's thinking about all this other stuff that was important. I'm not important until you just do it. You just do it and get it out there.
Yeah, set it on the calendar. Come, as you said earlier, from a place of understanding, grace, vulnerability. Because if you're vulnerable, they're going to be more likely to be vulnerable back with you. I think you just setting the tone for how you want this to go and make it how can this become positive versus accusing each other and then you're becoming defensive. There's resentment, there's anger. But how can you just come to a place of understanding? I know Terry, who's one of our trendsetters as well, she shared with us on her episode that she starting her business. We all know starting a business is very expensive. And you're most likely going to find yourself in debt at some point along the way. And she was hiding it from her husband. And that fear, disappointment, as you said about Todd, the pressure she was putting on herself in the business. And then finally, she listened to everybody around her telling her, you just need to talk to him about it. And he was so much more receptive than she ever thought possible. They put together a plan and they worked the plan. And now they're married 30 years. She just is in her office celebrating 30 years of anniversary. And it shows, again, that vulnerability is the bravest, most courageous thing that we can do because it sets the tone for that change that everybody is seeking in their life. Now, Holleigh, you've had mentors along the way when it comes to your money. I know Melissa Myers herself, now you work part of her team, has become a huge role model in your life. How did you two meet?
We were a part of a larger friend group that we were surrounding each other. Like we would hang out in social settings together, but we never had conversation. So it was at that moment where I realized I was about to get married and I was like, holy cow, I'm going to be putting my finances together with another person. What does that look like? And I ended up sitting on her couch and she was like, I can definitely help you with that. Or what do you think about joining my team? And from there, it's just been transformational and the most exciting journey.
What's become your favorite part? You are their licensed client liaison. What's your favorite part of working in the financial industry and working with clients?
I love serving all of our clients at every level, whether that is just reaching out, following up, scheduling appointments, or that's having them in office and we're doing some strategizing of, hey, I want to accomplish this big, hairy, audacious goal that I have coming up. How can we do that? And it's so exciting to watch clients come in, maybe new ones that are not sure what to expect, and they come up all like this intense and nervous. And by the end of the conversation, they're leaning back, chilling on the couch, just having a great old time, like we're a family. And that is such an incredible honor to be a part of.
Oh, sure. The relationships. It's like women are so good at this job because we love relationships. Right? Let's get more women in. into the industry as well. Now, you recently got licensed,
Yes.
Series 65, which is a beast. You know, what was it like going through that journey and now being on the other side, being a licensed professional in the financial industry?
I feel like I could write a book about just that journey. That oh my gosh. It's one thing to set a goal for yourself, but then to keep after it even when you don't succeed the first time, the second time, and then the third time you finally do. You learn so much in that time, in that journey that I had. There were times where I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is the right fit for me. Like, what am I doing? And I chose, though. I think that's the biggest thing, is to choose and decide that you're going to do the dang thing because it matters to you, and then having your why is a really big, important piece too. And I knew that I wanted to prove it to myself that I could do it even after being out of high school for a while, and not knowing the financial language or lingo at all, and pretty much teaching this to myself over the last year was such a huge accomplishment. But I would say the thing that kept me going was knowing that I could do it. And I wanted to do it because I knew that I wanted to be able to serve and give back and pour into millions of lives in a way that I haven't yet done. So I was very excited to keep going and to keep doing it no matter what.
Yeah. What surprised you about yourself through those struggles and the hard times? And I'm sure there were moments when you're like, it'd be easier just to give up, easier, and just to move on to something else. What surprised you about yourself?
I feel like I really, at the end of the third time, when I saw that little tiny password, I was like, holy cow, I can do anything. I really can do anything. Like, it doesn't matter if I want to start a business, if I want to write a book and be a best-selling author. Like, it really, truly does come down to your mindset and what you choose to focus on, what you choose to believe, and how you take those baby steps into that next step in your life. And so for me, it was taking the Series 65, and it was not easy, but I know now that I have determination, I am smart, I am resilient, I am brave and courageous and strong, and so proud.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing. Even since we met a few years ago, you've gotten married, right? You're
Yes.
a mom. You recently paid off a ton of debt.
I
Which
did.
is a big part of the plan. You got licensed. You became a podcaster, a best-selling author now. And it's just been amazing to watch this transformation of you in just 2 years.
Thank you. I would say it's unbelievable, but I've been seeing that vision, wanting to write a book and writing it down. Writing it down has been also very helpful as well. And really, I think of you a lot because this year I've been really tuning into this abundant lifestyle.
Ooh.
And being in that space of abundance isn't just financial, isn't just about wealth, but it's also relationships and spirituality and all of those other pieces of the pie that I'm not even joking, I didn't even realize was a thing until last weekend when I was like, oh my gosh, I am living an abundant life. Like, like you said, podcast producer, co-host, #1 bestseller, past the 65, paid off thousands of dollars of debt, and still going.
Still going. Yeah, this is just the start. Last year felt a lot like the infrastructure for a lot of us at the Wealth Boutique, I have to say. You were there, right, setting up the infrastructure, learning the operations, the systems, the clients, studying your ass off.
Yeah.
And then really, right around the holidays, we saw this huge turning point for you and so many of our ladies, including myself, now coming over. Is abundance your word for the year? What'd you say, Holleigh?
It wasn't my word. My word was joy for this year, but I'm finding that there is joy in an abundant
Oh,
life.
yes. And what makes you filled with joy is what's going to bring you abundance. So if you, as you lean into that more and more, it's just going to happen.
Yes.
Oh, incredible. My word for the year is receiving. And I feel like so blessed to receive so much. And you're right, there's abundance and opportunities and love and time. I mean, I think that's the biggest one as moms. And you have two busy bonus kids, two rescue dogs as well, right? It's time. And you said yesterday during their book launch day, you did what you wanted to do that day. What was like filling your cup up with joy? And you probably felt the most abundant you felt in a long time because
Yeah.
of it. Oh, that's incredible. Incredible. Well, before we kind of recap everything we talked about with Holleigh, we're going to take a quick break to talk about financial trendsetters. So stay with us.
Join us for our Financial Trendsetters Gala May 2nd here in New Jersey as we raise money for a scholarship. For tickets, head to jessicaweaver.com.
Well, there was a QR code to grab Financial Trendsetters. You can get on Amazon now. We have the ebook, hardback, paperback version, and all proceeds are going to fund a scholarship for a young woman who wants to study finance, who wants to get involved in the financial industry so we can be part of this movement to get more women in, because as you're listening to Holleigh, you can tell women, they are amazing listeners. They are willing to get vulnerable and not speak over your head or try to dominate the conversation or powerhouse it. They're caring, they're empathetic, and they just give so much to their clients. So we trying to really change. We make up 18% of advisors. We need that to change. And I love having Holleigh here at the Wealth Boutique, part of the Melissa Myers group. You know, Sarah under my team, she's about to get licensed, Cammie as well. It's so exciting to me for this next generation to get licensed and to really, I can just see how much you all love it, love being here, love the change that you're making in your clients' lives. And I would love to hear, Holleigh, as we're wrapping up, you know, we talked about the emotions of writing your book and being vulnerable, the emotions and anxiety of having that first initial conversation with your spouse, with your partner, and the relief you felt right once it was going. And you can see that he was feeling things as well. And it's because you care so much about each other, which is really special. He didn't want to disappoint you. You didn't want to disappoint him. And so many times that can make us retreat, but you took the courageous step to say, no, we need to talk about this so we can come together in unity for it. Now, they're not always relationships like that. There is a lot of financial abuse. Have you seen this with any of your clients where the one spouse is in the dark despite her wanting to, or him, to get educated and know what's going on with the money, but the other spouse is just keeping things hidden? There's a lot of secrets. There's a lot of deception going on as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate in my opinion, but I do think that there is this whole taboo about money that people just don't want to talk about it. So it can be hard, especially in your upbringing, if you haven't had those conversations as a young adult, moving into adulthood and then marrying your partner. But I will say that there is great power in having those conversations. And I don't think that anyone should be left out of the dark. And we encourage everyone in the relationships that we build that both of them are included in the conversations that we have, regardless of whether, I mean, there are times where schedules don't allow for both partners to be integrated and involved in every single meeting, but we really want both partners, both people to be included so that there isn't that out of the, feeling like you're in the dark and not knowing what's going on with your whole situation. It can be overwhelming.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I have a call with she's a new widow. Her husband passed away in October last year. He took care of all the money. So now, and they're in retirement as well. So I'm like, just being so vulnerable and weak, you're grieving, you're in the dark, you don't know what to do. It can be a very scary time for them. So to be more proactive, as you said, Holleigh, and getting both engaged from the start is huge piece of it. Holleigh, what do you see the future for you in the industry as well? Where do you see it going?
That is a great question. Right now, someone just asked me that the other day as well, and I am really holding space for whatever's next. I'm really trying to keep my mind open. I would love to take on a lead advisory role and be that point person in the future. And also writing this book, Financial Trendsetters, has opened up a lot of desire and creative energy that I am really excited about too. So having that out, the podcast and learning that whole world is really exciting and new. So I have so many different things going on that I am just trying to go with the direction that I feel led and I feel the most congruent with.
Ooh, and inspired to go. You are so much positivity, this bright ray of sunshine on social media. Do you wake up the day just positive, or is there practice? Like I do my daily money practice. Is there something that gets you going into that zone? And I'm sure the more you're in that zone, the more abundant you feel, as you were talking about before. How do you start your day? I got to find out.
Yeah, great question.
Is it a lot of coffee? Is it a lot of caffeine? What's going on?
Yeah. I joke with Melissa that I thrive on chocolate, coffee, and oh my gosh, there's another C word, but chocolate and coffee are like my primary things. But yeah, my morning routine, I am not like, woo, today's a beautiful day, like so excited like that. But I don't know, I have to have coffee. And then I read a book, and then I do some journaling that really sets me in the zone for how my day is going to flow. And social media, whenever I post on there, I feel led in my heart that someone else needs to see this. Someone needs to hear this, or, oh, wow, this really impacted me today. I wonder who else could benefit from seeing it.
Yes. I was going to ask where you get your inspiration for that. So it's very heart-centered. Wow. Is it usually inspired from your journaling?
Sometimes. Other times it depends on what book I'm currently reading. Right now I'm reading You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Highly recommend. It's hilarious and very fun, full of great inspirational quotes. So I've been pulling from that, but sometimes I'll just be walking around and feel like God is speaking to me and telling me, hey, just post it. And it turns out to be a lot of engagement.
You do get a ton of engagement. Yes, I highly recommend following Holleigh. She is incredible at the Melissa Myers group. And here we are. We got it right here. Licensed client service liaison. There she is in the pink blazer. I was wondering if you're going to wear this pink blazer today. Mine's pink, but it's a little purple hue to it. I'm like,
oh, that's phenomenal. I love that picture. That I get a lot of positive feedback from that blazer too. It'll be featured tomorrow at an event, but
can't wait to see pictures on that. Amazing. Well, stay with us because Holleigh's going to give her hot money tip, her financial trend. We're going to do a meditation. We got a lot more stuff going on, so stay with us.
Women are born connectors. Yes, we'd love to talk. We are comfortable crying around each other. But this is also what makes us real. We embrace being vulnerable with one another, and this dismantles that wall, the barrier that separates us from our clients. We aren't intimidating, we are real and honest. We aren't here to judge you, we are here to guide you. Women seeking their own healing from the traumas of life. We focus on personal growth because if we grow, everyone around us will grow. That's how it works with women. That's how it works at the Women's Wealth Boutique. We bring everyone up with us. I'm grateful for the men in our lives who embrace this quality in us, who are comfortable in their own skin to take a step back so we can shine. I'm so thankful for the blessing of my own husband who lets my pink light shine all over. We work with and support all women in the financial industry at the Women's Wealth Boutique, female advisors, professionals, investors, and clients. Our mission is to guide women to invest their money where their heart is, whether that is in themselves, specialty investments, real estate, their own business, to help women spend where it feels good to them, not to anyone else, and to be who they are meant to be at the Women's Wealth Boutique.
And you might notice Holleigh and Melissa Myers were all throughout that video, that commercial of the Women's Wealth Boutique. So Holleigh, it is this time of the show that is one of my favorites, because I love hearing what is our financial trendsetters go-to money move, money strategy insights that is a game changer for women. And sometimes they're small, sometimes they're bigger. It doesn't matter. It's going to make an impact when it comes to their money, their mindset, their assets as well. So what is your hot money tip?
This is something that I learned as a lifelong learner from Melissa. I have adopted the Sunny Day Fund strategy. And if you haven't read Melissa's book, Going Rogue, Unconventional Financial Strategies for Women, it's also in there. But it's really about preparing for things before you need to. And it gives you permission to spend your money however you want, because it's there and it's ready.
What are you currently saving up money for? What's that next big goal for you, Holleigh, or you and Todd and the family?
Yeah, we have, and I will say that Todd and I, before we were on board together and had that conversation, he has told me that this strategy has revolutionized our relationship with money as we do this as a partnership. So that has been really exciting to have that with him. But right now we are saving for multiple vacations. We are going to hike the Wave with my parents. It is on the border of Arizona and Utah, I believe she said. I don't know a whole lot about it other than that it is a very tricky thing to get into, and you have to have like a permit in order to access the hike. But it's called the Wave, and it's going to be in the desert. It's about 6.5 miles, and I don't know if that's just one way or if that's total. So we're gonna find that out. But yeah, we're saving for vacations.
Oh, very cool. Is that a big priority, a goal?
Oh,
for you and Todd, travel?
Yes, it is a top priority for us. We definitely work hard so that we can take as many vacations as we want to.
Ooh, I like that. I like it, Holleigh. Awesome. So the Sunny Day Fund, is there a certain amount of money, a percentage of your income you set aside, or do you look at that goal? I want $10,000 to spend this year on travel, and then you back into how much each week or month you're putting into it? How does that usually work?
Yeah, you can do it either way. You can back into it knowing the amount that you want to spend, or if it works better for you to just every pay period take a certain percentage, 10% or whatever, and just automatically get that money set aside so that when a new opportunity comes your way, you can say yes.
Yes, and not have to rely on credit cards that I feel as a society we tend to do a lot. I mean, you can get a credit card like that, and then it just keeps going into the spiral. We talked about the spiral earlier on the show, more and more too. Awesome. Thank you for explaining that for our ladies watching here. And then what is a financial trend that you are witnessing when it comes to women and money?
Financial trend that I am seeing is that, like you said, more and more women are not taking the back seat anymore. They're saying, heck no, I want to know what's going on. I want to know that I'm going to be safe and secure. I want to know that the things that I am pursuing right now, be education or I don't know, plans to travel Europe, that I can do that anytime I want to. And I don't have to wait for permission from anybody else.
Oh, the permission. We talked about wealth being a control factor, whether it's your spouse controlling it or an inheritance, and there's certain expectations laid upon you by inheriting that money. And permission is a huge one. You're right. So sitting at home, and then I want to share with you, we had a little party here at our office to celebrate Financial Trendsetters becoming a bestseller last night. And one of my good friends, she works in mortgages. She's a mortgage broker. And she was sharing with us that the other day she went to her boss and said, or her manager, and goes, I am not a third string quarterback. I'm not a third string quarterback. I am Eli Manning. And this is how I should be treated in the support, and on and on and on. So I'm bringing that because it's also happening in the workplace, I feel, as well, where women are standing up for themselves and they are going for things. And if they are not getting it, they are going to go and find it on their own. They're going to leave. They're going to start their own business. They're going to join partnerships or collaborations. They're going to find communities that will support them. And they're going to leave that traditional boxed and roll behind. What
Yes.
do you say? You see that happening too?
Yeah, I think absolutely. And even like worst case scenario, you go out there, you put yourself out there and you request your worth. And the worst thing that can happen is they say no. And then you go somewhere else and
Yes.
you do the thing anyway.
Yes. And you're like, you know what, God, thank you for protecting me in this moment from joining a firm that probably wasn't meant, or a relationship that probably wasn't meant to, instead of being dragged into it. And now months, years later, I'm realizing it. It's like, thank you for shutting that door ahead of time. There was at the party again, as I'm thinking about this conversation, a divorce attorney. She's been in business. She had her own business for 30 years, Holleigh. And I'm bringing this up because she was on her third interview for this one law firm. She really wanted the job. She thought she had it was between her and the man. And the gentleman, the owner, partner, said to her, we don't hire women in childbearing years. So you're not going to get the job. I know your eyes.
Like, what?
And then we were snowballing. We're like, well, then he probably would have said, you know, we don't hire women who have children at home because you're not going to be committed to your work. Right? It would have gone on and on and on. So honestly, thank goodness that he said that, because that pushed her to, you know, I'm going to start my own law firm. And she's extremely successful from it. And thank goodness she didn't enter that toxic work environment. But how many times we're like, we'll push through, we'll work twice as hard as the men, and we won't let the kids interrupt us. And that's not serving us either at all. So standing up for what we deserve is huge. I'm so grateful for you to being part of that mission, that revolution, where it keeps coming up, that revolution. Yeah, we're seeing when it comes to women in relationships and in the workforce, which is just incredible. We're going to go into our meditation part, Holleigh. Is there any meditation, because I know you're big on this too, is there any meditation you would like us to do tonight? I usually don't ask this, but I would love to hear. What are you feeling today?
I honestly, overwhelming gratitude is what I have.
I love it. I love it. And we said we are going to end this episode with so much positivity that you're just going to be floating through life, floating through the day. Amazing. Amazing. So we're going to do a meditation real quick, ladies and money queens. And then we're going to come back because we have one special guest who's going to ask Holleigh our last question of the night. So stay with us. And with that, I invite everybody to get super comfortable. And we're going to do a shout out to our course Lift. If you want more of these meditations, you can download the program right there. It's 10 meditations, 10 prayers, 10 journal works, 1 per week. And I invite you to just get so comfortable. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just sink into your chair. Just let it sink. All the pressure that you've been putting on yourself, all the stress, all the anxiety, just melt off of you to the floor. Take another deep breath in and out, and just get really grounded. And picture yourself in your happy space. Picture where you feel the most you, the most loved, maybe the most connected to God. It could be on the beach, the mountains, with your kids snuggled up in bed. Picture that moment in your life. And let those feelings just fill you up, filling your heart and expanding through your chest, your back, down through your legs, to your feet, up through your neck, your arms, your head, and just feel this aura around you expand with this feeling of abundance, expanding into this bubble around you and expanding through your entire room that you're in, your house, your office, to the world. And this light is becoming a bridge. And there are people, hundreds, thousands of people on this bridge waiting to come to you. And as you expand this light, they start to walk on this bridge, coming to you closer and closer. And then they are there, one after the other, all surrounding you, coming from all different places that you never would have even dreamed of. And they come to you and they give you the biggest hug and they say, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for being you. I've waited for this moment and it's here. And one after the next, they give you a hug and they come into your world. And there's no shortage of them. They just keep coming with so much abundance and they're so grateful. You're just laughing and with crying, with tears in your eyes. They're just so grateful to be there with you. And you feel them all here in your world for a purpose. And in this moment, you just have the most divine sense of gratitude and love. And your higher self wants to tell you something about this moment right now, something very important, some words that they've been waiting to tell you till you got to this vibration. And they let you know this message. Hear what the message is. Take that message in. If nothing come out, it's going to come to you when you least expect it. You don't have to force it or rush it. It's there. And know that now you are on the high road of abundant prosperity. Nothing you can do can shake you off of this road, and know that you are so safe on this road. You are protected. You are in the divine. You are so loved in this moment and forever. That you are safe, that you can trust this, that your belief and faith have gotten you to this moment. And God is with you there, and you are co-creating. And what is the next thing that you are going to co-create together? What is that idea that has been burning inside of you, that has been waiting to come out? What is that moment, that new, amazing piece that you are going to now build? And it hits you like a lightning bolt. It hits you so fast and hard, and it's like it's always been there. It's like, of course this is it. And as we wrap up this meditation, you are going to now know exactly the next steps to take in this moment to make it happen with God, and know that there is no pressure on you because you are building this with God. He is there right there with you every step of the way, that you can lean on Him whenever you need it. It's there, it's done, it is created, and it is yours. And breathe all of that in. All that amazing gratitude, and know that as you express gratitude, that flow of creation is formed and is there to move through. And take another deep breath in as we come out of this meditation. Loving on it all. Welcome back, Holleigh. How was that? Was that the boost, that jolt of gratitude and abundance you needed?
It was, as always, phenomenal. I just feel enlightened, invigorated, and just so excited.
Oh, and I can't wait to hear what you are going to be co-creating next with God. And as we wrap up our show tonight, it's been such a pleasure, Holleigh, having you on Women Behind the Millions again for season 2. We have a special someone who wants to ask you something.
What makes you a woman behind the millions?
Oh my gosh, that's so precious. I think as a financial professional that we strive to be organized and get everything in order. But I would say what makes me a woman behind the millions is choosing to first surrender and to have that be my first action before I let myself step in the way and try to create what I think I need, where I think I should be, is really having that act of surrender and trust. Mm-hmm. And everything else is going to fall into place.
Isn't it amazing? And I feel you're probably at this moment right now where every setback, every bad relationship, bad job, everything, plus all the good stuff came into full alignment to get you to exactly this moment now where you are now a podcaster, a licensed advisor. You have a best-selling book author, right? A mom. Everything has brought you. And it's so cool to now look back on all that you overcame, that you endured, and that you triumphed over to get to this moment, and to have it with so much gratitude, not anger, resentment, bitterness of the things that have been bad, try to prove people wrong, but just this amazing flow that you're now in. That flow is incredible. So thank you, Holleigh, again for being on Women Behind the Millions, for being such a huge supporter of our revolution here at the Wealth Boutique and with our Financial Trendsetters book. Again, one more time, let's get that amazing blazer up here for you. Check out Holleigh at themelissamyersgroup.com. Follow her on social media. She really is incredible. So thank you, Holleigh, again.
Thank you, Jessica.
Hey, Money Queens, looking to get your wealth to that next level, 7, 8, 9 figures? Follow us on Instagram at PinkFixMyMoney and at Women's Wealth Boutique for more millionaire money tips.